I welcome you to this class, KOLLIST Philosophy of Metaphysics, KOLLIST Metaphysics, Class 1. I welcome every student into this class as we take on this class of KOLLIST Philosophy of Metaphysics. I will urge you to be patient, to follow me diligently to understand everything we have to know in this class. You are welcome on board. To proceed in this class, every student is expected to download these 5 books on the website of KOLLIST Institute. For this basic level, you need to read all these books, and for later, for the pro level, you still need these books. These books will be used for all the courses in KOLLIST Institute. They will be used for all those courses. Now, these books are KOLLIST Philosophy. That's the first one. The second one is Logical Analysis of Metaphysics of Realities. The third one is Nature Exploration, The Secret of the Principles of Knowledge. The fourth one is Kollism, The Kindle of Enlightenment. And the fifth one is KOLLIST System of Government. All were written by Adebolu Eluwade. That is my humble self. So every student is expected to download the ebook version of these books on his or her account on the website of KOLLIST Institute. So to read them for all the courses of KOLLIST Institute. Download them and read them. For this particular course, KOLLIST Metaphysics, you need, most essentially, you need to read KOLLIST Philosophy, and you will read Logical Analysis of Metaphysics of Realities. Those two are very, very important for this course. So every student should read them so that we can be on the same page. You can understand what we have to learn in this class. We shall proceed now in this class to introduce to the students philosophy, introduction to philosophy. What is philosophy? For those who are familiar with philosophy, and for those who are not familiar with philosophy, I will just give the brief introduction of the subject, the course, the field called philosophy on its own. Philosophy as a whole. Philosophy is a field of knowledge that contains all fields of knowledge. Okay, philosophy is considered the mother knowledge. It is considered the mother knowledge because all the fields of knowledge, they are rooted in philosophy. They are rooted in philosophy. You talk of any type of knowledge, anyone, it is rooted in philosophy. That's why philosophy is regarded as the modern knowledge. The history of philosophy uh, is quite long. You can read more about that, online or from different books. This is because in this course, we are focusing on KOLLIST philosophy. I will just give you the brief introduction to philosophy. Okay, you need to read more about philosophy on your own. You need to read. Once you are a student of KOLLIST Institute, you must be a reader. You must be a reader. You need to read. That's what we do. That's what we do to learn. Okay, you will read. Read philosophy. Read the history of philosophy online or through the books you can find. So the history of philosophy is very long. It started with with Socrates. Socrates is the father of philosophy, according to what we learn, what we were taught. Socrates is regarded as the father of philosophy because he started it all. He was a Greek man. Therefore, philosophy started from Greece. Okay, that was where it started. So from Socrates to Plato. Socrates was the teacher of Plato, and Plato was the teacher of Aristotle. That was how it went. And we have other philosophers later to talk of Saint Augustine from Algeria, talk of Saint Aquinas, and talk of Immanuel Kant, René Descartes, and so on and so forth. We have Karl Marx. There are very many of them. Um, Francis Bacon was part of them. There are many. John Locke. There were many. You need to read about this on your own to know the history of philosophy. Okay? Philosophy has grown over the ages, has grown from the archaic level to this level that we have today. You need to read that on your own. It is about philosophy. Now let me talk about the categories of philosophers that we have, because philosophy as a course is often, to many people, those people are not familiar with philosophy. They regard philosophy as a field of study that is all about doubting everything. It's all about proving this, proving that, without being able to arrive at any certain conclusion and so on. Okay, and it's regarded as a field that disregard God or certain spiritual beings, stuff like that. So the philosophers were considered uh, those who do not believe in God. To many people, they believe if you're a philosopher, you don't believe in God, stuff like that. That is very uncharitable. Let me call it that way, because it is. I consider it as an ignorance on the part of those who are thinking that way. Because the philosophers, they comprise of everyone. Okay, philosophers comprise of everyone. Everyone is a philosopher. Once you can reason, once you can have a position on certain thing, you are a philosopher. Okay? Once you can, prove, say that this is what I stand for, this is what I believe, then you are a philosopher. Let's consider some clerics who are philosophers. We have Saint Augustine, Saint Aquinas. They were clerics and they were very great philosophers. Philosophy comprises of everyone. So it is not that those people who are philosophers, they are non-believers or stuff like that. No. So we have two categories of philosophers. We have passive philosophers. The passive philosophers are the people who do not actually know or understand what they stand for, and cannot really defend it. Okay, these are the people that what they believe in, they don't really understand it, but they just believe it because someone told them to do so, or someone told them that is what it is, and they believe that person, they believe it, but they don't really know. They don't understand it, so they can't defend it so much. They will just say this is what I believe, and that's it. Explain how you believe it. They don't know, they don't want to know. They just believe it. Those are passive. Okay, they don't know what they believe, but they just believe because someone told them to do so, or that's the norm, or that's what people believe, so they believe it. Those are passive philosophers. But the active philosophers, they are the people who actually know and understand what they stand for and can defend it. These active philosophers are few because the passive philosophers are many. Many people are passive philosophers because many people don't really know what they believe. They don't really understand what they stand for, and that's why they can really talk out of it. They can really talk out of their position anytime when a better argument is presented before them. But active philosophers are those people who really actually know, understand what they stand for, what they believe, and they can defend it when it comes to explaining what you stand for. They can explain. Prove what you stand for. They can prove. Okay, these are the active. That's why they say that the philosophers are this and that, because philosophers, active philosophers, know what they stand for, know what they believe. Although what they believe may sound nasty, may sound somehow, but they will believe it and they will stand by it. They will explain it. They will prove it. Okay, but those people say, just leave me. This is what I believe, and I believe it. No explanation, nothing, nothing. Those are passive because they don't really actually know, understand what they believe, but they just believe it. They just stand by it because some people also stand by it, or some people believe it. Okay, these are the two categories of philosophy, and as you can see, everyone is a philosopher. If one is not passive, one will be active. Okay, one will belong to one category. That is, everyone is a philosopher. Just like everyone is an artist. We only have passive artists and we have active artists. Everyone is an artist on his own. The same goes for the philosophy. So everyone. We will now talk about the types of philosophy. The types of philosophy that we have. I told you that all the fields of knowledge are rooted in philosophy. Okay, we have many types. Any knowledge you can find is rooted in philosophy. Okay, so we have different types of philosophy. We have different types of knowledge. We have different types of knowledge, and that's how we have different types of philosophy. Okay, every knowledge is rooted in philosophy. I will just talk about very few of them, just to explain the types of philosophy. One, we have the scientific philosophy. Okay, scientific philosophy is a philosophy of scientific knowledge. Okay, it's a philosophy of scientific knowledge. Scientific knowledge is a field of knowledge that makes use of empirical proof, to ascertain the truth on, to verify the reality of things. Okay, there is a scientific field of doing things. That's when you talk about the scientific logic, stuff like that, experiment. Okay, scientific proof. That's a scientific field, and uh, it is called scientific. It is type of scientific philosophy. That's a type of philosophy. Science is rooted in philosophy. Second one is religious philosophy. This is a religious field of knowledge. Okay, it's a religious field of knowledge which makes use of religious beliefs, to ascertain things. When at times when something appears, in reality as a certain thing, religious belief will want to say it is it is another thing. Okay, they may say if you see a snake crawling before you, it means something. Okay, that's religious stuff from their own. We have different religions, very many of them in the world, and every one of them is rooted in philosophy because it is in religious knowledge. So every religion has its roots in philosophy also. Then we have political philosophy. Okay, this is another field of knowledge, political knowledge. Okay, every political systems that we have in the world is rooted in philosophy. Any political system will have either uh, libertarian philosophy or authoritarian philosophy, as its foundation. Any political system, okay, that is how it is rooted in philosophy. Okay, we have that, and we have personal philosophy. Personal philosophy is the philosophy that anyone can have, based on his or her own knowledge. Okay, as a person now, I can call a white cloth a black based on my personal knowledge. Okay, that is my philosophy. Okay, that is my personal knowledge based on my personal philosophy. And I want to make a clarification here that when any type of knowledge come up with a conclusion on certain subject, that does not mean it is the conclusion of philosophy on such subject. That is why at times when philosophy is referred to, they will say that philosophy is of the position that there is no God, or is of the position of this, of that, which are the outcomes of scientific knowledge. Very many times, scientific conclusions are often taken as the conclusions of philosophy. That is no. I stand to disagree with that. The conclusion of scientific philosophy is the conclusion of scientific philosophy, not the conclusion of philosophy as a whole, as a modern knowledge. You know that philosophy comprises of all the types of knowledge, all the fields of knowledge. Okay, when a field of knowledge now come up with a conclusion on certain situation, it shouldn't be taken as the position of philosophy. When scientific knowledge or scientific philosophy come up with the position that there is no God, that is not the position of philosophy. It is the position of scientific philosophy. Okay, we have religious philosophy. Religious philosophy also has its position on spiritual things, on God. When religious philosophy come up with the position that there is God, that is not the position of philosophy as a whole, as a modern knowledge. No, that is the position of religious philosophy. And regarding the personal philosophy, when I decide that this is what it is, or this white cloth is a black, that is my own position. Okay, it's not the position of philosophy. I hope you understand. So, because most times scientific conclusions are taken as the position, as the conclusions of philosophy. No, that is a no. That's misconception. That is the way that philosophy has been battered over the time. No, philosophy is bigger than science. The conclusion of science is the conclusion of scientific philosophy, not the science, not the philosophy as a whole. Now we have KOLLIST philosophy. KOLLIST philosophy is the conclusion on on different subjects as a result of the research work documented in the books written by Adebolu Oluwade. In those books that I've talked about, those 5 books: Logical Analysis of Metaphysics of Realities, The Nature Exploration, Description of the Principles of Knowledge, and so on. You know, the conclusions of the research on the phenomenon called existence in those books. Okay, the conclusion documented in those books are the conclusion of KOLLIST philosophy, not the conclusion of philosophy as a whole. Okay, the conclusion of KOLLIST study, the study done in those books on existence, the conclusion on different subjects as documented in those books are the conclusion of KOLLIST philosophy. Okay, KOLLIST philosophy, you know, is a kind of knowledge, you know, that has been developed based on research done on the phenomenon called existence. Okay, the results were documented in those 5 books. The conclusion, all that, they were documented there. Those conclusions are the conclusions of KOLLIST philosophy on those subjects addressed. They are not the conclusions of philosophy as a modern knowledge, as a whole knowledge of philosophy on those subjects. No, they are the conclusions of KOLLIST philosophy on those subjects. I hope you understand that you can differentiate between types of knowledge and types of philosophy and the philosophy as a whole, you know, as a whole uh, body. And we have other types of philosophy. There are many. So, and other types that you can find. Okay, you can categorize them under types of philosophy. Any field of knowledge, any type of knowledge is rooted in philosophy. You can. In conclusion of this class, I will talk about the branches of philosophy. Okay, the philosophy has 6 branches as developed, you know, over the ages, as worked upon by philosophers over the time. Philosophy as a field is divided into, it has 6 branches. There are 6. One is metaphysics. Metaphysics is the study of the first cause and spirituality. It's the study of the first cause and spirituality. Epistemology, this is the study of the nature of knowledge. The third one is morality and ethics. This is the study of what is right and wrong, what determines what is right and wrong. We will get there. Then logic. That's the fourth one. That's the study of justification of reason. Okay, what's justify reason? Fifth one is politics. This is the study of political system of society, of human society. Number 6 one is aesthetics. This is the study of the nature of beauty. Now, each one of them is a course in KOLLIST Institute, because KOLLIST philosophy has its own conclusion on each branch of philosophy. Okay, KOLLIST philosophy as a type of philosophy has its own position on metaphysics, on epistemology, on morality and ethics, on logic, on politics, and on aesthetics. Science has its own position, religion has its own position on all those branches of philosophy. In this course, in this KOLLIST Institute, what we will learn is the position of KOLLIST philosophy on these branches of philosophy. So we'll get into the detail really as regards KOLLIST philosophy, and I want you to follow me diligently and see the conclusions of KOLLIST philosophy on these branches of philosophy. We will meet in the next class.